Can I tell you a story?
Please.
John sits in his office writing in a notebook. And as the sun begins to rise, he squints and looks out his window to the east, toward the Redmond Trail. He'd walked down the trail many times carrying his book bag with some lunch. It was all part of trying to find the story. And he never had a clue what the story would be. But when it was just right, he knew it. His idea to change the names was paramount in his decision to know freedom and write the story of liberty's cause. The struggle to exist is only compounded by people who want nothing more than to see a person fail, where no avail takes the wind from their sails and renders their rudder utterly useless, floating along in the aftermath of life's currents that ebb and flow, where danger lurks and all that is unseen is cause for consideration. Then metaphor opens the door to an ocean of possibility where almost anything can happen. A fish lands in his boat. He can't see anymore because he's blind. His skin is burnt and his lips are chapped. Water's everywhere, but fresh water's hard to find. He reaches out blindly, searching for this fish he hears flopping around, trying to get back to the sea. All it wanted was to find normal once more. All of a sudden, he grabs the fish, he looks up to heaven, he says, "Thank you, God." And he threw it over the side back into the water. He knew that he was not long for this world, and that it was better that the fish could swim on home, a place that he longed for. And as the fish swam away, the man pulled out a piece of cloth and hid from the sun and thought about life. This boat he was in was for the whole world. They were all in the same boat. And like him, many were too blind to see what they were doing to destiny. All of what can be was on that ship at sea, floating out in space in the galaxy of chaos. The planet Rawhead was little more than the figment of an imagination, a place where fiction is guided by the truth in human nature, and the world was theirs to do with what they wanted, but none of it mattered, because it wasn't real. It was a fictional account of what real looks like through a blind man's eyes. But he wasn't always blind. There was a time he could plainly see. But at this adolescent state, he knew nothing of utter disregard for the facts. Fake news was never spoken of, so it was like it never happened. But then one day, want outweighs need, where he begins to learn of greed, where he plants that seed that grows, and nobody knows his twisted plan. The boy becomes a man. A place where good was with bad, and happy was sad, and nice is never mad, and bitch is rad, and pies had. In the terms of the vision, that vision of what lies in the test, like the quandaries to a quest to know tomorrow. But in reality, we can never even know today. And in that struggle to understand, we may in the end fail to fathom ourselves, much less anybody else. The whole of it is baffling, subject to interpretation. And in that case, many things get lost in translation on the planet Rawhead in the galaxy of chaos.